Anyone you mind? A little bit of roll call.
It looks like online we have Cheryl Hartman, Chris Lounsbury, Eric Dixon, Kyla Leonards, and Leidy Wagner, MCAT. In 206, we have Commissioner Slotnick, Strohmeyer, and Vero, and Hughes, Andrew Chorney, Alicia Beckholtz, Allison France, Vinnie Pavlish, Vincent Pavlish. Sorry, Kayla Childers. Carrie Powers and Annie Cathy.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, before we dive in, do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? Okay, we have a consent agenda. Anything anybody wants to pull out on this consent agenda? Don't necessarily want to pull out this item, but just mentioning the Colt fire and Dave, knowing that you were up at that meeting last night, anything of interest to report?
Is Adrian?
Okay.
Well, so it was standing room only at the community center in Condon last night. Had a good meeting. It was both in person and also somehow the Forest Service pulled off the virtual piece of it. They were streaming live.
Wow.
I don't know if they had their own satellite link or blipped by with the Wi-Fi in the library or whatnot, but good meeting. The incident command team members were there presenting an update on the fire, which as of yesterday was a little over 4,000 acres, I think. Fire's not super active. There was a meeting in Seeley Lake the night before, had about 200 people show up for that meeting, about 300 online for that meeting.
Wow.
So a lot of community engagement. Our sheriff's office was represented last night. Bob Parcell talked to folks about evacuation procedures and protocol. It was a good meeting. It's likely a fire that's going to last many weeks.
Wow.
Even best case scenario, it's likely to get bigger.
That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worst case, much bigger. Fires are not uncommon. Yeah, you can see it. It's right.
It's a beautiful photo.
Right next to the highway, not too far off the highway.
Wow. What's the sort of proximity to structures?
It is most active moving to the southeast. So they've done some campground evacuations and like around the Summit Lake area. There are, just depending on what the fire behavior ends up being, certainly there could be structures that are impacted. But everything's going about as good as you could expect, and I encourage folks to remember it is fire season. Actually, just the beginning of fire season in the Northern Rockies, and now is the time for folks to, if not already, to think about cleaning out those gutters, pine needles off the roof, wood piles away from your decks, and so it was a good meeting.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anybody want to?
Oh, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right. Any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you all. Kyla, you're here. Kayla.
Yeah, Kayla.
Kayla, you're
No
here.
worries.
We have
We just hired another.
we just hired another
Oh,
one.
really?
Oh, I'm looking at Vinny because I just, the attorney, like, don't you know who all the new
Tyler or
hires are?
Kayla or variations now?
Kaylee.
Katie.
I wonder if you all were born around roughly the same time and it was just a super popular baby name.
I know. My mom, this is the very thing that my mom named me after a character off of Days of Our Lives.
Oh, great.
I think that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing I've heard in a long time. That was really good. Can we just call you Stefano?
Yeah. Kayla is Stefano. But yes, this kind of a popular name. I am here today to request that the board sign a subrecipient agreement with the Human Resource Council. This is for the community development block grant that the county received to do housing rehabilitation on up to 5 homes in the Missoula County area. So not within the city limits, but the areas surrounding the city limits. The agreement is for $286,625, and that would go towards HRC to cover the administration of the program as well as the actual rehab costs for the 5 homes. This grant is ending in December 31, 2024. So we are hopeful that we can get up to 5 homes within that amount of time, depending if the $300,000 can cover up 5 homes of rehab. The county receives some admin for this fund, for this grant, but most of it goes to HRC. This is the final piece to get this program up and running. I am meeting with HRC tomorrow to look at the wait list of homeowners that are on the program, to see which ones we can help first, and then to see if there's any possibility of combining programs, or combining homes. So multiple homeowners need roof replacements, we can, one contract, and see if we can do it that way to make things a little bit faster, because one of the hurdles of this program is finding contractors to do the work within a reasonable amount of time. So any questions on that or the program?
I just want to make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
You get lots of interest from folks.
Yeah, I mean, the wait list actually is about 13 to 15 homeowners, but I do know HRC gets inquiries quite often, but they do have to meet a low income and moderate income eligibility, as well as if the home is at a point that it's not repairable to health standards and safety standards, we aren't able to rehab the home. So there has been a couple instances in that case where it would just, no running water, no electricity, things like that, that is just too much for this fund. And so they do direct those homeowners to some other opportunities. But yeah, so I would say there is interest in the program.
Great.
I move to approve the subrecipient agreement.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Shane?
I'm filling in for Shane. He was double booked, so he's working on the Lolo sidewalk plan review with MDT right now. So I will do my best to summarize what we're here for today. So this is a contract amendment for Emerine Construction. They were the low bidder for the Lolo water system improvements. And this was originally broken into 2 phases. Phase 1 was for improvements to the distribution system, and phase 2 would have been for upgrades to the wells. Phase 1 was originally bid with a base bid for water main extension on Farm Lane and Lewis and Clark Drive, which was to provide service to the new school and system redundancy. And with that bid, there were 5 alternatives that were offered. And so originally we awarded the base bid for the Farm Lane work, and we're waiting on results for the prices on phase 2. When the prices on phase 2 were so high compared to our available funding from ARPA, we opted to award the rest of that funding, or make the rest of that funding available to include the 5 bid alternatives for the distribution system improvements. And unfortunately, when that decision was made, there was no amendment to the contract at that time. So Emerine Construction proceeded with all of the water distribution system improvements. And when we went to pay their bill, Dave Wall said, "Where's the contract for all of this work?" So the roughly $600,000 amendment is for work that was originally bid with the phase 1 improvements. So this is just an administrative cleanup for being able to pay the bill. All the work has been done, or substantially complete. So this is just a big oops in the amount of $600,000.
Straight up.
But budgeted.
Yes, it's all funded by ARPA. It was just a reallocation of the available funds to, maximize the construction work that we could get done this year.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, I move that we approve the agreement.
Second, let's take care of those $600,000.
Any public comments on this?
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave Wall.
All in favor?
Oh, aye.
Had a wildfire update already. Thanks today. Thank you for summary of the meeting and the content. Anything else we need to talk about? Love the consent.
Yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. Bye. See you next time.